Okay, so this video is designed to kind of just show you the process that we all try to follow at the end of the night, or the process that should be followed at the end of the night when you're done, or even if you're finishing your report during the day. It's just a general review. You always want to make sure you review your report through Home Inspector Pro before you upload it, because once it's uploaded, it's emailed to the client, and errors, if there's any, they don't bode well with clients. So it's always very good to follow this process when you're done with your inspection, and whether you're doing your homework at night or you're doing it between jobs, to make sure you review. This review process is super important. So we'll walk you through that real quick. What you want to make sure is on your client information page, make sure you did indicate what the weather was like. That's going to be very helpful for us to understand if there are any issues down the road that we have to address. I like to use this other info box, and I put a lot of information in here. I put what direction the house was facing, and that's generally what direction the front door was facing. I just put house faces west on this house. I put what type of inspection I was doing. We could have a Premier package, an Ultimate package, a re-inspection. I put all that stuff in there. And I use this other area to just put a general comment about checking permits for any alterations or remodels. It's always been helpful to me, and it looks nice on the front of the report. So I finished my report. I've gone through, I've added all my photos, and what I'm going to do now is, prior to uploading, prior to going to this process and doing my recall check and my upload, I'm going to go to my generate report. And I just want to make sure, again, if you haven't ever generated a report, or you don't know what this stuff is, if it's checked on here, it's going to come out in your report. If there's not a checkbox, that part is going to be left out. So you have to really pay attention to this. If you are doing a raised foundation, the system is automatically defaulted to do exactly what it is right now. It's going to say concrete slab and with a pool. So if it's a raised foundation without a pool, you need to take away the concrete slab, add the raised foundation, and take the pool out. That's going to be a raised foundation without a pool. But this one is a concrete slab with a kind of a pool spa situation. So you want to, once you've verified this information, you hit close, then you hit save. No question about it. It's kind of a no-brainer. And that should bring up your PDF of your report for you to review. And again, it's really important that you do this prior to your upload, because people don't like mistakes, and home inspectors, we can make a mistake here and there, and even misspelling a word can really put somebody off. So we want to make sure you always follow through with everything. I just verify the information in here. I make sure everything looks okay. I like the front of my report to be very bulky and give them information. So I have all the property information in here, my email address, things like that. What I do is I just start kind of scrolling down, and I want to make sure we've already gone over the summary page, so I'm pretty sure I'm confident that that's good, but it's always good to review it again. This one had quite a few items going on with the house. More importantly, what I want you to do is get used to sliding down through your report, and what I really want to make sure we're covering here is to make sure that we have our X's in our boxes here are inspected, not inspected, needs further evaluation, or none. That's really important, and when it comes down to the needs further evaluation and the red ink, that's a super important thing that the clients have an expectation to see. So as you go down here, you can kind of see, I just scroll through, and I'm kind of just making sure I don't see anything that's stepping out of the ordinary. I'm going to cruise through here. I've got my pictures in there. They seem labeled properly. So I've got some red ink here. The first thing I look for when I see red ink is I want to make sure I've got that NFE box checked or X'd, so that they make sure that not only they're going to see this, but they're going to see that I put NFE. If you look right above it, I actually have an NFE on something that this particular item everything was written in black. It wasn't major items, but it was something that I still felt needed further evaluation. So you can use the NFE box in two different settings, one without red ink and one with red ink. But primarily, I want to make sure if you have this red ink, I want to make sure we're all putting NFE on there, just to be consistent, because you don't want one inspector to do a report one way and another inspector report to do another report a different way. So I just kind of cruise through here. I always check to see also if I have red ink, is there a way I can insert a picture to help them understand what that is? Unfortunately, with no carbon monoxide, there's really no picture I can put in there, so I don't include it. But you'll notice I try to with at least every part of my red ink. And again, here's a situation right here where this is a great time for me to review the report. I notice I have red ink, but I don't have NFE clicked. So I'm going to make sure I go back to my report real quick. I'm going to go back to the inside of my house. I'm going to do it right away, right when I see it. I'm going to go to my electrical section, and I'm going to click on that NFE, because now I know I got that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and And I'll come back to this in a second because I might have to make some more changes before I save. So that's a classic example as to what to do when you see red ink without NFE. You go right immediately to your report and you handle it real quick. Let's see. So we're just going to cruise down. Here's another one, NFE. I didn't have a picture of this, and look. So I do these inspections all day long just like you guys, but I make this mistake a lot. And that's why I always go back and I try to review my report over and over and over again to make sure I'm doing it right. So I'm going to go back to bathrooms, and I'm going to go to window concerns, and I'm going to hit NFE. Okay, I didn't take a picture of that window, which is odd, but I'm like the picture king. But that's generally what I'd recommend is if you have red ink to have a picture in here. So here's my red ink, and I did NFE on that. You can see I use my finger to point at things. Here's red ink. I got plenty of pictures. I've got NFE on there. Red ink here. I do have a picture on the next page, and I have NFE here. This is another good example, real quick, to explain why you should label your pictures, because the report gets broken up into different pages, and so somebody might see red ink here and then not understand what this picture is about if you don't have it properly labeled. So if I put a picture in the report, not in the back of the report, but actually embedded in the report, I always label it so that they know, in case this breakup happens, that when they turn the next page, they'll recognize that this is for that page. NFE with my red ink, and here's a picture of that again. We just talked about that. NFE with my red ink and a picture, NFE with my red ink and a picture. So again, it's real important we're all doing the same thing. I'm cranking through here. Again, a picture, and nothing is really in red. I just threw that picture in there because they were talking about it during the inspection. I want to make sure it was involved. Moisture damage under the sink, we got that. Rust damage inside my dishwasher. Let's see, what else do we have? Real quick, we're going to go through this. Missing handle on the laundry door. And notice I'm just kind of cruising through real fast. There's the picture of the heater. It seemed to operate fine. It's a newer unit. And there's our heat temperatures. I always put those in there. Make sure everybody knows we ran the heater and air conditioning. General photos I like to put in there. General photos, obviously put defective photos in there if they're defective, like missing a vehicle barrier in front of the base of this unit when it's in a garage. NFE is there again. Just going to keep scrolling down. We've got some splices. I normally don't make too big of a deal of splices, but when I see a large wire spliced to a small wire, I definitely want to make sure they check that out and find out why. What's going on with that? It's not normal. So some general staining. I'm kind of going through it fast because I want the tutorial to be fast. They added some brackets. There was evidence of patching. I just threw that stuff in there for them. Light beam system. See, I could probably have a picture of that. I just didn't put it in. So I can actually go back and find my picture and put it in there just to make sure I have a picture, and I'll probably do that. I just like to make sure that they see those. Anything with red, if you have a picture, it's great to put it in the report because then they're not calling you later and questioning it. So again, deteriorated NFE. That's primarily the goal, is to make sure you have pictures and make sure that your red ink has NFE clicked on there. That's going to be a big one. So okay, so anyway, that's the end of this video. That's what you can see. Obviously, I've made some changes to my file. I've went it through, and I'm going to go to my file, and I'm going to find that one thing about the garage that's going to help me put in the light beam system not present, and wherever that is, and it takes me a little bit to find it. I got to find it, but I'll make my way here. I'm into the garage. I'll make my way through here. There's the opener. There we go. There's a great picture right there. So I'll just go in here and I'll say garage, opener, reverse safety system, and there we go. No light beam system present. If I want to add a quick edit to it, I can do a circle, I can do an arrow. I'll just do an arrow real quick, and I'm done. Hit save, save it, and basically I can now, now that I've reviewed my report, I feel comfortable with it, and I'm going to upload it. So that's how you, really important process, review, review, review before you upload. All right, thanks a lot.